They did it. They did the impossible. This is a bloodless coup. It's out of Cersei's hands. You cut to Cersei, you see her. You cut to Tyrion, realizing this is an opportunity. This is the moment where the bells can ring and we can call all this off. And then you go to Dany. She feels empty. It wasn't what she thought it was. It's not enough.
Every single thing that's led her to this point, and there she is, alone. We've all got this part of us. It's that part that goes, I'm gonna put that chocolate cake down, and I'm gonna walk away. We come up against those moral conundrums all the time. I'm not saying chocolate cake is a moral conundrum. Eat as much fucking cake as you want. But those things that you wrestle with in yourself.
She knows she has won this war. It's in that moment when she makes the decision to make this personal. It's one of my favorite Emilia performance moments because it took place on the back of like a giant green dragon buck without a real thing anywhere in sight.
Emilia's really nice and she cares. She's a whole bunch of things that Dany isn't. So reaching this part of Dany is a tough call for her.
Ultimately, she is who she is, and that's a Targaryen. And, you know, she has said repeatedly throughout the show, I will take what is mine with fire and blood. And in this episode, she does it.
For the audience, oh, you wanted a battle? Well, here you go.
Drogon's fire blasting does a lot of damage. I mean, he's not Godzilla, but we're heading in that direction.
We're set on 3, 2, 1,
We create a lot of interactive light for Dragonfire. So that can either be a series of large flame bars, or it can be a pyrotechnic charge that will light up. And of course, then what happens is we go back to the studio and then we do it with the VFX Moco cameras.
We had the big flamethrower on the spider cam on stage that was shooting, 40 feet of fire.
And then we do also the impacting on the ground. We do that as a half-scale model shoot pyrotechnic charge that goes along. And all these things get tied in together, so you'll see the Dragonfire chasing those flames, and then where the Dragonfire lands, you'll see all the pyrotechnic charges going off.
The place when she takes off and starts burning the city, and when the Unsullied on the ground and the Northmen on the ground take that as their cue that anything goes.
It should be enough, guys, but it's not. Just up ahead, everyone looking up, you can see the dragon coming down, and it fires on the city. And go Grey Worm.
There's a moment when we see Grey Worm taking out his enemies when there's no need to do that.
The way we described it in the screenplay was that he's become almost an angel of death.
He's just gone back to being like this kind of traumatized robot.
There are a lot of people lurking in the background. See if you can find Aaron Rodgers.
I was helping a woman who was injured, sat her down, and then the hell with her. I'm getting out of there.
So struggle, and then less struggle, that
Guys, the beheading came from the idea to take the audience to a place where they felt that they shared the bloodlust of the Stark, so they wanted to see these people get creamed, and then to give them what they wanted and show them with no mercy the horrors of war. And at that face-off, in that moment, you're with Jon more than anybody else. Interestingly, when we were editing it, there was a mistake made at the moment that it goes to slow motion. And the sound cut, and I was like, oh. And suddenly I was riveted. And nothing letting me off the hook from seeing what he's seeing and experiencing what he's experiencing.
And there's a great shot that Miguel got. You just have the Lannister soldier who's guiding the civilians of King's Landing to safety. And the good guy in this shot is a guy in bad guy armor. And the bad guys in this shot are the ones who are doing all of these horrific things.
If 3 was the final battle between good and evil. 5 is what have we become.
It's all got a bit bleak, hasn't it? It's quite bleak. This season's really bleak.
If I win, I'll bring your head to Cersei so you can kiss her. One last time.
Finally, after 15 years of being colleagues, I've given 2 days to kick his ass.
The time for gentlemanlike fights are over. The idea was it was a slugfest.
It's gonna be very funny for Denmark because 2 of their actors are gonna fight it off.
The Dane Bowl. It's a little bit disconcerting when they start talking Danish to each other because I'm not sure whether they're changing a move or conspiring to do something that we don't want them to do. Where we did it was a very unfriendly environment, which was big rocks and stones and a tide. This very, very small cove where the tide came in and out, and it was wet and sandy. Those guys being soaking wet and having sand everywhere. They're probably still finding sand in the bath now.
3, 2, 1, action!
Euron is a psychopath. A normal person would not swim to shore just so he could murder one other person. He wants to know what new things are like. As he says with Cersei, life can be boring. The ultimate new, interesting experience he's never had before is death, and I think he's strangely excited about having that experience as well, and he dies with a smile on his face.
That was the first thing I asked Dan and David is, am I dead? And they go like, no, maybe a little. And I go like, no, I don't think so.
It struck us that it would be apocalyptically beautiful to see them fighting on this stairway to nowhere with the sky in the background and the dragon flying by and the flames everywhere, and it's just pretty epic, and that's what we wanted.
Hello, big brother.
One more this time, guys. We shot this thing for days and days and days, and it was so hard to shoot, and it was a massive set. There was 72 steps.
The really important thing for me in designing the staircase was that it felt grand. We've always seen these computer-generated illustrations of King's Landing, and there is a big tower down the side of the big keep.
The problem with a staircase is it will want to go up. So I think the first time in our kind of history of building things here, we've actually hit the grid of the stages.
There's a lot of crew, and it's just the one staircase, so trying to get cameras into positions right up against the staircase, it's been quite difficult.
At the same time, the building is being ruined by the dragon fire, so there's crumbling walls everywhere. Special effects will be dropping rocks and sand and debris. So there's all these kind of interesting challenges, as well as running in and fighting and falling down the stairs.
So when you attack, it's better that you're slower but on target, and he gets out of the way, rather than trying to be really fast and deliberately missing, because we'll see a deliberate miss. Does that make sense? Yeah. Just slow and deliberate.
Am I ready? Rehearsing. And set. 3, 2, 1, action.
Oh! The way we tackled it was we put one very big crane on the inside of the circle, on the inside of the staircase, which could reach any point on that staircase. And then where the staircase had been destroyed at the back, we put another crane on a large rostrum so we could shoot both ways. When we're on the staircase, we shoot a whole combination of handheld, and then we deploy our Artemis Maxima, which is this handheld stabilized rig. We learn the choreography, we get the trust of the actors and vice versa. And if you learn it well enough, you can step inside that zone with the swords going over the camera or under the camera. Before you know, it gets pretty exciting.
Yeah, that fight was brutal. It's brutal to watch, but it's brutal to shoot as well, because For Hafthor, he's wearing so many prosthetics. Hafthor had to wake up at midnight to get ready for an 8 a.m. call.
7.5 hours of makeup, and then he had to do a 10-hour day. They were hard. They were hard work.
When we read the scripts, we realised that there's this big reveal.
And another step. Fuck it, just pull it off.
So the last time we'd really seen Mountain from the hands of our work was season 4. He was lying on the slab and he had this whole rotted, kind of ulcerated area on the side of his torso. So that was really the only springboard we had to the design. They kept referring to him as Franken Mountain, and we just came up with this kind of putrid, almost porcelain looking, it was this Frankensteinian looking figure.